Hello, and welcome to my third video on Earthships. Today I'm going to show you around 2 building sites in the Greater World Earthship community in Taos, New Mexico. Our friend Sarah, a local resident of the community and featured in the last video, showed us around 2 different building sites. So the first element created is a basic U-shaped tire wall. The tire bricks are shiplapped, and they start with the biggest size tires and get smaller and smaller as the wall gets taller. The exception is some small tires may be shoved in gaps like this one that appear in the curves of the U-shape. This tire was packed into that shape so it will stay without expanding and break the wall in any way. Tires come in many sizes, and Earthships use them all in the construction of their house. Tires are a huge problem for landfills as they give off toxic emission and they pollute the air and water. By packing the tires with earth, then encasing them in concrete and plaster, Earthships are able to effectively repurpose old tires.
Then the next step is you mix cement, shove cans in there.
Do this over and over and over again, and you displace that much cement over and over and over again. It adds
Makes a difference, yeah.
This process is pretty freeform. People will take any extra material and just try to pack out the wall so that it can become one relatively flat wall like this one.
So with when you're doing poor projects like these, anything that's left over, everybody runs up and goes.
For exterior walls, they build up cement until all the tires are covered. Then they'll drill a mesh layer onto the walls that holds onto the plaster.
Insides. Lath is really expensive. It's very structural. It's steel.
Yeah.
It actually has these lips that stick out that catch things.
Things like plaster. They basically use the lath to hold on to the plaster that they end up smearing along those exterior walls to create a nice smooth outer wall.
And on the inside, it'll get to the point where it's kind of flattish, and then they'll plaster it with cement, and then each layer of cement, they use like these metal claws, and they claw lines all over it so that the next layer has something to cling to.
Within the wall, the builders must leave gaps for various elements of an Earthship, like this cooling tube.
See, this is where the pipes to the water tanks are probably going.
I saw a pile of broken glass in one of the corners. When I asked Sarah what it was, she said,
they probably bring huge bins of recycled everything over here, and they use it, and that's the garbage out of the bottom. They're just going to use it for fill, because this is just going to be a floor. The broken glass cap and lids doesn't matter, because
put something on top of it.
It's just going to go in the floor under a foot of concrete.
Next, we walked around the front and stepped into the interior of the house. The roof is made out of huge wooden logs called vigas. These vigas will be left half exposed when the Earthship is finished. Rods of rebar go straight through the logs for structural support and holds them onto their wooden frames. The Earthship also has vertical windows with a nice hangover, which is situated in such a way so that it lets the sunlight in during the cold winter and keeps the sun out during the hot summer. Here we walked around to the back of the Earthship. This block we're stepping on consists of 2 inches of rigid insulation with 2 additional vapor barriers to prevent moisture from seeping into the back wall. The roof is built on a slant so that the rain, snow, and dew runs off the roof into big cisterns in the back of the house. We also looked at this more completed Earthship, which is what the first house we visited will eventually turn into. Each Earthship has different features, so this one has a 1-car garage, a pond, and even a fireplace. Here's a decorative can wall that separates the entrance and the garage from the rest of the house. To make these mosaics, builders must find 2 identical bottles, cut both bottoms off, then tape them together to lay in the cement as they build up the wall. Once it's finished, light shines through the bottle bricks to create this magical effect. Then the leftovers may get used to fill in the floors. My biggest takeaway is that it takes a lot of people working together to build one of these effectively. Because of this, there's no one person that designs and builds everything, so each feature and improvement comes from multiple people working together to create the best house they can. Well, that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe down below. Also, thank you again to Sarah for showing me around these sites, for Widget, Sarah's dog, my mom who went with me, and the builders who worked really hard in the hot Taos sun.